Well, it always makes me laugh when we put a Belichick quote about the opponent, because it's always going to be glowing. And I'm not taking anything away from Lamar, but you can pretty much guarantee whoever they're playing, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, he lays it on.
This time it might have been honest, right?
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Okay.
So after you play a team, we do an after-action report where you look at it and say things you did well, things you did poorly, preparation errors, and you use that for the next time you play an opponent. I don't know if you guys remember the game from 2012 where New England was playing the 49ers, and it was Kaepernick and it was Greg Roman, and they were down 31-3 at one point, ended up being like 41-34. But the problems that this offense has presented for New England are considerable. And I'm sure Bill is going to go back to that game and look at the things that they did and try to understand how Greg decided to attack him. And I'm sure that Greg's doing the same thing, because he had that level of success with a very similar type of attack and quarterback. And New England's going to have to force, they're not going to have to force, they're going to make Lamar win the game throwing the ball. That's it. They're not going to let them, they're not going to let him beat them with his feet, and they're going to take every opportunity to hit him. And we've seen this with mobile quarterbacks against New England all the time. If you're going to put them in harm's way, they're going to hit them. And if they give up a 7 or 8 yard run, on the give, fine, because they're just going to keep hitting you and hitting you and hitting you, and see whether or not in the fourth quarter you still want to be carrying the ball.
I want to make sure people understand what you're talking about there when you say you give up a 7 or 8 yard run on the give. Like, if you're doing the read option there, the quarterback is fair game even if he lets go of the football. And what you're saying is, in those circumstances, they will be coached. Take the quarterback down, and if the running back busts one for 7 or 8 yards,
yeah, no problem.
No problem. We'll deal with that. And so because you don't have the protection in that situation like a quarterback does, because the idea is to trick the defense. So it'd be unfair if you can't hit the quarterback if he's giving the ball away.
Yeah, if you want to pay your left tackle $15 million and then put your quarterback in a position where he can be hit multiple times, great. We'll hit the quarterback, and we'll see in the fourth quarter whether or not he's still the same player that he was in the first quarter.
Well, and you mentioned the 2012 game against Cap. What made Cap special when he was still in the league was he was an actual dual threat. Sometimes we say dual threat, and that means quarterback who can run but can't really pass. When Cap was taking his team to back-to-back conference championship games and to a Super Bowl, he was he wasn't a refined elite passer, and Lamar's not a refined elite passer yet, but he was dangerous throwing the football and elite running the football. People compare Lamar to Michael Vick early in his career, and that's not really a fair comparison, because early in his career, Michael could do one pass well, the long ball. Like, he was not Lamar, to me, is more refined as a passer at this moment than Michael was until he got to Philadelphia with Andy Reid, that almost near MVP year he had after he'd been out of football. And so Lamar presents enormous problems, and I would imagine, I can't prove this, but I would imagine there is an element of not complacency, because I don't think Patriots get complacent, but when you have gone through the list of who's nobodies at quarterback, when you play a big-time NFL quarterback, it's different than if 2 weeks ago you'd played Deshaun Watson, and 3 weeks prior to that you had played Carson Wentz. When it was Luke Falk and Matt Barkley and Colt McCoy and Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold, and Baker was the one legitimate NFL quarterback you've played, and he hasn't played like a great NFL quarterback this year, and they turned the ball over, there's going to be an competition adjustment the Patriots have to ratchet up to that maybe the schedule is not prepared for.
Yeah, I don't think the Patriots go through things like that normal teams go through. I think that the #1 defense is going to take it personal that this is the quarterback, and they're going to put all the praise on the quarterback, and then after the game, they're going to want credit for being a great defense. I believe that's what will motivate them. At the midway point in the season, you're looking for little things to be able to pick up to give you some type of juice, and they have breezed through the first 8 games. This is what I would be concerned about. Belichick has 24 straight games where he has won against a quarterback under the age of 25. Lamar, of course, is in that category, but he has struggled against mobile quarterbacks. Since 2010, Belichick defenses have given up a quarterback rating of 83.5, which is 4th in the NFL. But the mobile quarterbacks, he played them 12 times. Their quarterback rating is 111. And that includes Deshaun Watson, Cam Newton, Russell Wilson, Alex Smith, and Colin Kaepernick. I think you brought up the most important point. Lamar is coming into this game with Greg Roman, which is a tremendous asset to have going against the principle-driven defense of Bill Belichick. Will you break down those principles by the quarterback running, Jenna?
And with Greg Roman, Greg does a great job. I worked with him in San Francisco. I was in those meetings with him of understanding how to attack other teams in the running game. He's as good a coordinator in that aspect as anybody that I've seen, and that's a huge edge when you've got a quarterback that's essentially a running back. He's another running back. You know, you said a big-time NFL quarterback. New England's going to make Lamar prove that he's a big-time NFL quarterback throwing the ball. And that's going to be the goal is, can you win by beating us in the passing game? Because we're not going to try to let you beat us the way that you beat everybody else.
That was my question. Can he beat that Patriots defense if he remains in the pocket? If you take away his legs, can he beat? Is he that good of a pocket passer that he could do that?
No, he can't. But you need guys like Marquise Hollywood Brown. If they can catch a zero route, which you get them the ball right now and they run off with it. If they go zero coverage and you hurt them deep down the field, because they're going to force you to throw the ball hot. That's what they're going to remove Lamar's ability to be able to run the ball because they're going to put so many people at the line of scrimmage. They're going to know that he's going to have to get rid of the football. So I don't believe Lamar can do it by himself, and you can't do it with the 3 tight ends that they use. You have to have some speed. You have to have wide receivers on the outside making big plays. That's why Marquise Brown coming back, being healthy, becomes very important.
One question for you guys, and I understand the Patriots more so than any team in the league are a game plan specific team. Every team claims they want to be. The Patriots truly are. But one thing that has been consistent nearly every game through the first half of this year is that secondary has been so good in man-to-man coverage. You've seen a lot of the zero blitzes like you're talking about, but whether it's zero blitz or not, they're trusting Stephon Gilmore. They're trusting their different corners in man-to-man. You guys have said for as long as I've known both of you that against a mobile quarterback, you want to play more zone than man because if you're in man, the corner's backs are to the quarterback. They don't know when he gets out and runs. If you're saying they're not going to let him run the football, is that going to force them into playing more zone as a secondary, something they have not had to do at any point thus far this season?
Well, Chris made a very important point with the young quarterbacks is you can make something look like man and then play zone. You can make something look like zone and then play man. You can show max pressure and back out and drop 8. And those young quarterbacks have to be able to figure out the difference.
That was the ghost for Darnold.
Yeah, that was the ghost. And so if he doesn't know what he's seeing, that becomes a very confusing post-snap read that he's going to have to work his way through, and that's the way that New England can get around some of those problems of just showing we're in straight man-to-man coverage. If this breaks down, you should run.
Yeah, there are going to be some opportunities to run, but he's got to run through the middle. You can't run to the outside because they're going to be so technique sound. They're going to get on your upfield shoulder. So run through the middle. And also, Greg Roman's got to call some design runs where you have an extra blocker so then he can get free. So I look for him to touch the ball, run the ball 15 times during this game.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.